Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. In this video, man, I'm still pumped that the ending of that Carolina Giants game was crazy. But I wanted to go over the game. New York Giants headed to Carolina. The Carolina Panthers picked up a 33-31 win at home on a Graham Gano 63-yard game-winning field goal. And I believe that's tied for second in longest field goal to win the game. And with the leg he had under that, he probably could have made it from 70. I think somebody pointed it out on Twitter, but he made it look easy. And like I said, there was still a lot left. It probably could have been 70. He still makes that. But I was pumped because I really thought the Panthers blew that game. You know, the Giants drove down the field. Eli, they completely blown coverage, having the defensive end on Saquon Barkley coming out of the backfield as a receiver. He was toast. And, Saquon Barkley's a great player. But Panthers came back down after some weird play calling. They run the ball with no timeouts. But let's get through the numbers. Starting with the Giants, Eli Manning, 22 of 36, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Surprisingly, the Panthers didn't get a lot of pressure on him, and as they got into the game, he was really able to move the ball. He had over 300 yards. I mean, he did have the 2 picks. One was a terrible throw, but it just seems like the Panthers weren't able to get a lot of pressure. He was able to, move around. That offensive line for the Giants has not been good this season. And I really thought this was a game where the Panthers' defensive line should have dominated, and they didn't. So he had time, to throw the ball down the field, and there's some busted coverages in the Panthers secondary. Odell Beckham Jr. had a pass. It was on a backwards pass to the left side of the field. Saquon Barkley's going up to the right side of the field. He could have made almost any pass he wanted because Saquon was so open. He gets a touchdown off of it, so it kind of adds, if you own him in fantasy, which I do, that just adds to fantasy points. He had 1 attempt, 1 completion with 57 yards and a touchdown. Kind of skews the numbers because that play probably works on a lot of teams just because of how dangerous of a runner Odell is, and to see him throw it, most teams would be caught off guard by that. New York rushing, they kind of went away from it just because they saw the passing game was working so much, and their offensive line was able to protect them. But rushing, 15 carries, 48 yards for Saquon Barkley, and Eli had 1 carry for 2 yards. So they only ran the ball 16 times. And like I said, the passing game was working. They were playing from behind. They were down double digits at a point in the game, so they were playing from behind. So they did have to put the ball in the air. Receiving, Odell Beckham, 8 receptions, 131 yards and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley, 4 receptions, 81 and 2 touchdowns. Sterling Shepard, 4 receptions, 75. Russell Shepard, 3 receptions, 52. Davis, 2 receptions, 27. Ellison, 2 receptions for 17. Now, defensively, I thought the Giants played good. The defense, they did a good job against the Panthers' run, especially coming off week 3, which the Panthers had a bye in week 4. Giants did a good job against the run. They gave us some plays to Cam Newton, and then earlier in the game, the Panthers were able to move the ball on the ground. But for the most part, coverage was tight. Like I said, they got 2 turnovers. They got 2 interceptions on Cam. Coverage was tight. Really, only Funches as a receiver was really able to do anything in terms of pass catching. Really, none of the other guys were able to do much. Christian McCaffrey, of course, he's always the guy that they got to slow down. I thought he played pretty good. He did have a touchdown finally, but I think the Giants' defense played well. They weren't able to get really a pass rush on Cam Newton. Even when they brought blitzes, they got to him a few times, but he was able to pretty much get rid of the ball. So I was actually, well, not really, because coming to coming into this game, they weren't getting a lot of pressure, especially with Olivier Vernon not being there pretty much most of the season and him still being out. They have huge issue with getting pressure on the quarterback. So hopefully when he returns, whenever that may be, he'll help that out. But the secondary I thought played well. It's just the pass rush. Cam had a lot of time to throw. The run defense was good. But they're definitely going to have to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback, in the future. Moving over to the Panthers. Cam Newton, 21-35, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. There were some throws he missed. Obviously, there's outside of really Christian McCaffrey and Devin Funchess, no one's really been making, in this game, made really any good plays on the ball. Weren't able to get open because Cam had time to throw. There were throws he was missing. It looked like he hurt his hand, but I'm not going to make any excuses for him. He didn't look good. In the first interception, Ian Thomas ran a weird route, so I blame both quarterback and tight end. He should have came across the field, and that's what Cam was assuming. You'll look at it and say, oh, it's a bad throw, but he assumed that it was a complete miscommunication. It just goes to show you the youth. He's a rookie tight end. You don't get used. Cam hasn't gotten used to what he wants to do, and like I said, it was a weird route. So the offense looked rusty. The passing attack mostly, it looked rusty, and you saw it in this game with Cam missing throws, guys, a lot of weird routes. Curtis Samuel has to get the ball more. He had a really nice touchdown early in the game, breaking tackles. He has to get the ball more. DJ Moore is another guy breaking tackles. You got to get the ball in these guys' hands. Come across the middle. They have the speed to go deep down the field. You got to get these guys the ball. Carolina's rushing. Christian McCaffrey, 17 carries, 58 yards. Cam Newton, 8 carries, 29. DJ Moore, 1 carry for 18. That was one of the plays where Cam had a nice block on that play. The DJ Moore end around. CJ Anderson, 4 carries for 9. Alex Armar, 1 carry for 4 yards. So that total 31 carries, 118 yards, which is only 3.8, which is okay, not great. But like I said, the Giants did a good job against the run. The Panthers are going to run the ball 30 plus times if you include, of course, Cam, include Christian McCaffrey, and a CJ Anderson carry here and there. The Panthers are going to run the ball a lot. They want to control the clock. Like I said, the Giants did a good job. Receiving, Devin Funchess, 4 receptions, 53. DJ Moore, 4 receptions, 49. I think Funchess was the only receiver that was consistently getting open. DJ Moore, so was he. Cam just didn't look his way that much, but he caught all of his targets. So, the guy was able to get open. It's just Cam had some errant throws, man. He was trying to force the ball to Funchess. That was a point in time in the game. He was starting to force the ball to Funchess. He almost got Funchess knocked out of the game, and when he threw into triple coverage. I don't understand what he was doing. Ian Thomas, 3 receptions, 38. Curtis Samuel, 2 receptions, 37, and a touchdown. Has to get a ball in his hands more. He has to play more. I know he's really still trying to get back into the game. He was injured early in the season. He's still trying to come back, but he has to play more snaps as the season goes on. These other guys, Torrey Smith, he ended up getting hurt. He's not making plays, man. He sucks. Christian McCaffrey, 5 receptions, 35, and a touchdown. Jarius Wright, 3 receptions for 25. And there's your passing attack. Not, looking at it's not a lot of great guys on there in terms of talent, but you got talent there. I think you got guys, if you could just get the ball in their hands, they can make plays. McCaffrey, Samuel, DJ Moore, these guys can make plays. They can make guys miss. And that's just, you look at DJ Moore, you see when he gets the ball, he's like a running back. The announcers kept bringing that up, but it's true. You watch him, he's making guys miss. Guys are bouncing off him. Got to find ways to get the guy the ball. Defensively, secondary, man. This is the game with Eric Reed, which I didn't get a chance to talk about him, but I think it's a good acquisition. He saw limited snaps because he's just coming back. He hasn't played all. Last time he played was last season, so he has to get used to the game speed. They picked him up in the bye week. Hopefully, as the season goes on, we can see why he was a Pro Bowler as a 49er. But I felt as though they did a good job against the run. Saquon I think he had like one big run. It was a secondary, and it was the pass rush. It was no pass rush for the majority of the game. Really not much pressure on Eli. And the secondary isn't that good. It's just as simple as that. Bradbury went the whole season without giving up a touchdown. He made some plays, but he did give up a touchdown. I believe it was one to Odell. And you just can't expect these guys to cover that long. You don't have a lot of talent in the secondary, especially you're playing against the Giants offensive line who has struggled coming into this game. They've been bad. And you don't really get any pressure. This is a game where I thought they would dominate and kind of see what lineups work, what guys you can play. You need guys who can go out there and get pressure on the quarterback. I don't care who it is. Need guys to get pressure on the quarterback. If you can't get pressure on the quarterback in today's NFL, you're screwed, because you're the way the defense has been handcuffed in today's NFL. There's no way you're covering guys in the secondary. You can't touch them. You can't hit them after they get the football. And they call tiki-tack, PI calls. And that's not including all the stuff, the way the quarterbacks get protected. But you got to at least get to the quarterback. Force some errant throws. Maybe you'll get some turnovers. You'll force some incompletions. Can't let a guy sit back there and get comfortable. Because any quarterback can pick you apart. It's just the NFL. Looking at team stats. The New York Giants were over 7 on third down, which is bad because it was a big reason. They started to move the ball early and late in the game. That's why you started to see them score points late in the game. But 0-7, Carolina wasn't much better. 4 of 13 on third downs. So both teams weren't really good on third downs. Penalties. The Giants had 8 penalties for 62 yards, which ended up leading to that McCaffrey touchdown. But they had some boneheaded penalties. They've been the least penalized team this year, so surprised to see them get penalized that much. The Panthers had 4 penalties for 22. Panthers are usually one of the least penalized teams. It was the same deal last year. Turnovers. The Giants had 3. There's a couple of big ones. On the kick, it was on the punt return, where Odell blocks the guy. He touches the football. And I can't remember the player's name. Can't remember who it was. But another Giants player tries to pick it up. He picks it up. He gets stripped. And Colin Jones for the Panthers recovers in the end zone for a touchdown. Plays like that are backbreakers, man. They're backbreakers. Your defense was playing good, and you give up something like that. You can't have it. Or another possession where Eli, you're driving, and he tries to throw that crossing route that they've been able to connect on at most of the game. And he throws that, it gets picked off by Mike Adams. Those type of, Cam Newton also had a turnover like that. The one I talked about earlier, the Ian Thomas. You're at a point in the field where you're either trying to get 6, but settling with 3 is better than settling with 0. So the turnovers definitely were a big deal. Time possession, Carolina 35 minutes, 27 seconds. New York Giants 24 minutes, 33 seconds. And that's obvious. Panthers ran the ball 31 times. The Giants only ran the ball 16. So you kind of feel as though that time possession is going to be won by the team that ran the ball more. All in all, the Panthers coming off the bye week, they looked. Cam didn't look sharp at all. Defense. I didn't think the defense played that well, especially in the secondary. The pass rush wasn't there. And they almost, at the end of the game, I wonder, do they practice this when you're in a hurry-up offense? Because it just doesn't seem like they practice this. Or they had trouble getting to their plays. They had to burn timeouts in the third quarter, which left them with not very many at the end. Like I say, luckily, Graham Gano hit the 63-yarder because it looked like a disaster at the end of the game. But I'm not going to be mad at Graham Gano making the kick because you knew, like, Panthers fan knew he had the leg. He's so inconsistent with his, placement on the kicks. He'll make a 63-yarder and go into, next week and miss a 44. That's just the type of guy he is. But a lot of teams have kickers that have been struggling this season. Graham Gano is not one of them. So, big win. The Panthers seem to always let the Giants back into it. But, like I said, big win. The Giants actually play on Thursday against the Eagles. The Eagles are playing the Vikings right now. But it's a roller coaster. I can't remember who the Panthers play. I have to look at the schedule. But it's been a roller coaster season for the Panthers. One game, the offense looks good. Look at Cincinnati. Defense looks solid. They're able to get takeaways in that Cincinnati game. Come back after the bye week. Where you expecting, guys are rested up. You have more time to game plan for the Giants, and you come in and your defense looks like that. Your offense looks rusty. I don't know, man. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Big win for the Panthers. Always got to find a negative, but definitely a big win. Happy about the win. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.